Alrighty, spawning in the bottom left in the blue. Give it up for the Terran. It is CLEM. Spawning in the top right in the red. Give it up for the Zerg. It is ARMANI. Alrighty, so game number one coming through here. I'm interested to see where we go. CLEM has been showing some pretty strong plays lately. Been doing fairly well. ARMANI is always is one to be looking out for as well. Feels like sometimes ARMANI does it better than some days. Sometimes it feels like ARMANI just isn't always there. So I'm interested to see how he plays in today. And he's going to be going into an expansion first. Eventually going to be getting into that spawning pool. CLEM deciding to build his barracks at home. Not going to be going into a proxy this game. CLEM is definitely one of those players that is not afraid to proxy at all. See, Overlord's just scouting around, trying to see is there any kind of proxies going on ARMANI's side, and nope, not the case at all. Now, I haven't seen ARMANI play in a little bit. I'm interested to see where he wants to go. Obviously, you know, lurkers are a big thing right now. A lot of Zergs are going into that kind of lurker roach style. I wouldn't mind seeing him do that, maybe into a Lingbane Muta style as well. I think he has kind of usually went into Lingbane more than a roach style, but we'll see. The CLEM scouting out the timing there of the hatchery. It's like, okay, don't have to worry about super aggressive lane plays. We'll continue on from here. Oh, Reaper will be making its way across the map. Oh, there we go. Well, actually able to pick off one lane. Second lane gets very close to dying, ends up making it out in time. The Queen, though, gonna look to put on some pressure. Is not able to get the kill, though. So Reaper is still gonna be hanging around. It is gonna be Factory coming through. A third CC for CLEM. Third hatch, though, coming down for ARMANI. This is about halfway done. Gonna be Hellions coming out here for CLEM. So very standard stuff. Starport on the way as well. And yeah, CLEM just gonna back up. Eventually just wait for the Hellions to come by. It's gonna be interesting to see, does he open up into Viking? Is he gonna make himself a Banshee? And it looks like it is gonna be Banshee. Now, it doesn't look like he's researching Cloak just yet. Overlord for ARMANI is going to be coming in. And at the same time, CLEM just trying to put some pressure on across the map. I think he was able to get one drone. So nothing spectacular, but is still trying to find damage. Eventually, the Overlord here for ARMANI will fall. More Hellions joining across the map. And ARMANI gonna go into a Roach Warren behind this. Very interesting. Cloak finally being researched by CLEM. Actually took quite a while. He's got that third base done. And now ARMANI just building out the free. Of course, CLEM still trying to put on some pressure, but behind this, of course, we see Lair on the way for ARMANI. He's got the Roach Warren done. So I think after he's able to kind of hold this off, he's just going to start making roaches. And as I say that, he's going to make 6 roaches. He's got that Overlord speed being researched. And even getting an Overseer, so not bad. So Clem coming back home. Does, I don't know what he's really doing. I guess maybe he thinks that there's some kind of drop or something. I don't understand this. Yeah, he's making a bunker in the main. Did he, like, misread this? There's not a... Oh, well, I guess because of the drop of Lord. But... yeah, I mean, the bunker in the main, or the natural is good. But I just don't... I don't understand it in the that area. I mean, the queens are going to come around here. There's no detection, so eventually the Ravagers will be taken out. Gonna form into an Overseer behind this. He still does have the help of the Hellions, a tank in the high ground. The Queens gonna be able to start pushing in on this. The Banshee's working as best as they can. Crosabile, so gonna clear off a good chunk of units. 7 SCVs, 8 SCVs going up. Eventually the Queen's going to be taken care of here. The Banshees just putting in some work. Crosabile's not hitting their target. And somehow CLEM holding on into this. Gets the GG and CLEM takes game number 1. Behind this factory play. Expansion coming out for CLEM. A lot of the same stuff. Imagine it's going to be taking a quick third. And then eventually just, you know, going in from there, getting a Banshee and stuff. We'll see. This time, no Ling for the Reaper. It's very close, but not able to secure it. And we'll see from here. Does scout that there is the third base. So at least knows that it's not going to be some kind of crazy 2-base pressure. Going to be coming back with the factory. Going to switch it around, start getting those Hellions. Getting that third base, of course. And see where ARMANI is wanting to go. We'll kind of see where the tech path leads. Now, he's not mining a lot of gas at the moment, so not looking for any kind of crazy pressure. Reaper does come in once again. Sees that there are queens being made, and there wasn't a lot of Lings, there wasn't like a Roach Warren or anything like that down, so it wasn't some kind of crazy push. Stim on the way for the 10. And we do have... ooh, no starport being made. Interesting, going to be going into a second barracks instead. It does look like CLEM may be wanting to get aggressive here. Go. Alrighty, so starport gonna be coming down. Behind all this, we got the reactor coming through. One of the Hellions does go down. ARMANI doing a pretty good job here of actually like keeping his drones alive. He's killed 2 drones, 3 drones altogether, but able to defend that pretty well. You cannot blame the guy. Oh, Reaper barely makes it out alive. Alrighty, so gonna be 1 medevac, second medevac on the way. Behind this, a third barracks. Got the third base on the way. Eventually gonna be getting E-base for the Terran. And behind this, just Lings. Got the layer on the way for ARMANI. And he's going into Bathing Nest and the Evo Chambers. So going to go more in that heavy Ling Bane style. Eventually we'll see, does he go into Mutas or is he going to save up, go up into Hive Tech and eventually go into like Ultras, or even we could see him go into the Lurker Tech. CLEM Mr. making his way across the map, looking to put on some drop pressure. Fourth base on the way for Armani. It does actually get scouted here from Armani, so CLEM not going to be able to get too much drop damage done. Maybe be able to push back some of the creep, but that's going to be about it. Yeah. With 5-6 queens there, it's going to have to back up automatically. The queen's going to re-support and build that creep back out. Now, Armani knows this is coming around. It's able to kind of reposition and be in position here. Yeah, unfortunately, CLEM just not able to get a lot of damage done here. Let's see. Nice mine hit. Gonna kind of push the queens back a little bit. The Bailings still don't have speed done, so not going to be too worthwhile. CLEM just going to pick up. Eventually may try to move into the main, but no. Just going to go back towards this 4th base, or 5th base area, and re-heal up. Ling's looking for us around. We'll, of course, be able to kill off a few. Bailing, so going to detonate onto nothing. And we'll force CLEM back, so CLEM already getting a nice little advantage here. 52 armies supplied to 34, while CLEM is below about 10 workers. This 4th base coming in, though, that's going to allow for some more production from Armani to try to come back through all of this. Tank trying to get siege down, but a beautiful play here from Armani. Clearing up the tanks, clearing up a good chunk of the Marines, but fortunately not enough Lings to kind of counteract that. Gonna morph in some more Bailings, 15 on the way. Same time, a nice little counter pressure. You also have 12 SCVs at the same time. Tank, though, still hiding behind the rocks, which will allow a little bit of buffer against this, but doesn't seem like it's deterring CLEM that much, as he's going to continue to push into this. Another tank going to get sieged up. The Bailings looking to put on some more pressure, trying to focus down onto the Bailings, kill off a good chunk. Eventually the Lings take care of the tanks, and yeah, eventually this does get kind of cleaned up, pushed back once again, and Armani able to hold on. Now, CLEM is in a little bit of trouble. Nothing too major. He's having to kind of fill up that 3rd base, but he's still got a pretty good force at home. And even though he is, you know, still putting on pressure across the map, not taking a ton of damage. Kind of forcing Armani's attention at home while he does build up into more things. +2 on the way. Got the burrow coming through for Widow Mines, as it does look like now Armani, or excuse me, is now that CLEM is going to be switching into that Widow Mine style. Yeah. Fortunately, we do see the drones getting pulled here for Armani. He realizes he's going to have to lose that base. Another nice attack across the map. Going to get another 9 SCV kills, but with this base going down, the infestation pit going down as well, it is not looking good right now for the Zerg. Now, the parade push has somewhat started. Does get the infestation pit. Going to kill off the queens. A lot of Bailings trying to be made. Ends up kind of crashing into smaller ones. Nice mine hit. Still going to allow for them to eventually kind of be split up. Makes it a little bit easier for those Marines to get to. Another drop straight on top of the queen. Will allow for a little bit of a pickup, a reposition into the Liberator range zones. And yeah, I mean, 4th base on the way now for CLEM. He's got mines coming through. Evo Chamber going to be coming down, trying to get some of that replenished so we can get into +2 a little bit easier. Layer is still here. Hive Tech not around just yet. We do have the Hydra's Den just going down, so eventually we'll be going into that lurker style play. This is a lot of Widow Mines, though. Armani not having the best splits. We'll end up losing that 4th base. It's a base down here. It has been kind of repositioned. Yeah. Marine slowly starting to push into this. The splits are pretty good coming out from CLEM. ARMANI trying to get on top of this, but being able to just pick everything up, move themselves back behind the Widow Mine fields. Another counterattack coming out from ARMANI. At the same time, we do have those mines, though, in a position looking to get down. And we'll see ARMANI back up once again, picking up onto the unit. It's going to go into the main base. There is a Spore Crawler, but just far enough out of position. Oh, no. Messes up. He puts everything onto the low ground instead of the high ground like you wanted. And we will see at least ARMANI continue into this. He's got the Hydras. He's got 7 on the way. Well, nice little attack going across. A huge Widow Mine shot. Able to clear up a good chunk of those Bailings. GG's. Alrighty, without further ado, spawning in the bottom left, or excuse me, the bottom right. In the blue. Give it up for the Terran. It is CLEM. Spawning in the bottom left, the red Zerg. Is ARMANI. Alrighty, so game number 3 going to be here on Blackbird. So far, CLEM has played it pretty close to the chest. I mean, he has gotten aggressive, has kind of gone into these kind of pushes and stuff. ARMANI, it feels like ARMANI's struggling. I mean, CLEM definitely is a tough opponent, but CLEM has not had to like proxy, hasn't done anything too crazy. Down to like a 2-1-1. That's really about it. So what will we see coming out from ARMANI here in game number 3? I mean, he's tried to go into Lingbane. He's tried to go into a Roach push. Does he get aggressive again and go for maybe a quick Ravager play and just kind of like YOLO it, you know? He's going to go into hatch first, into pool. On the other side, CLEM just being standard himself, going into the racks into racks into CC. Eventually we'll see the Reaper coming across and try to get some damage in there. That's crazy. That's really weird. That's weird. Alright, so Reaper on the way. You have the command center coming down for CLEM. Just send the SCV across. Just wants to get the scouting on the timing of ARMANI's hatchery. Of course, he's... Okay. It is indeed a hatch first into pool. Speed on the way for the Zerg. You see him making a few links. And just kind of playing into that standard style that he has been known for. Factory, of course, coming down for CLEM. It's going into a Marine behind all of this. Reaper choosing to go into the main this time. We'll be putting some pressure onto the links here of ARMANI. Eventually just kind of backs up as the Queen does pop out. Now third base has been taken up here towards the top, and we'll see, you know, kind of where CLEM wants to go with this. Obviously ARMANI still on Ling Tech, not going up into Roaches or anything like that just yet. I imagine maybe just staying on Lingbane, going up into Lair, and kind of a similar game. I mean, I think Roaches are good on this. As well as like Midas are pretty good on here. They're decent. Lingbane gonna be really good as well because of how close everything is. Not gonna be able to split your army as much, right? So CLEM though just gonna keep pressure onto the front of ARMANI's base. Well, ARMANI is gonna in fact go into that Roach Warren. So looks like it's gonna be similar play coming out from CLEM as we saw in the previous game. Gonna go into that 2-1-1 situation. Got Stem on the way. Eventually we'll throw down the medevac lane. Gonna go into Starport and then eventually just kind of build in from there. ARMANI does see this, so going into Roaches, not a bad idea. It will force CLEM kind of into more of a I guess tank style, if you will. So CLEM though, going down with the depots, looking around, just making sure that there's nothing crazy going on. Eventually we should see ARMANI take the gold base, which will allow him more production, especially if he's going to go heavy into like link play. That's going to be very good for him. But of course we do see ARMANI going into roaches. He's going up into the lair. Hasn't actually... How many roaches has he made? He's made 5. Now, he's actually going to go across to try to put some pressure on with this. We've actually seen Dark do this before. I don't know how well it's going to do. He's going to actually be caught in the slow zone. Going to focus down one of the Hellions. Eventually the Hellions will make their way back. The Marines, though, going to have to play a little bit more defensive. Instantly we see the bunker and the eBay being thrown down. And yeah, I think at this point ARMANI can just back up and keep, I guess, CLEM kind of in a defensive position. Now the thing is once the medevacs do come out, this does open up the possibility for drops. And of course, it's going to allow some big pressure. Now, we already see the Lings and the Roaches kind of backing up. We've got +1 carapace on the way. Roach speed layer is finally done. That does open up that speed deck, which is very crucial, as well as burrow, if he does choose to go that way. But CLEM going to start pushing on to the creep. Does have +1 on the way. Combat shields is being researched as well. Yeah, I mean, he can just start kind of pushing the creep back, eventually maybe push into one of the bases. But he's got to be careful. These roaches definitely are nothing to scoff at. So we'll actually pick up, going to go into the main. There's already 2 queens waiting for him. Besides, hey, I better not take that chance. And CLEM just going to go ahead and back up. The roaches, though, here for ARMANI. Looking to start pushing this back across the map. CLEM taking that front 3rd base. He's already got 1 tank. He's got a 2nd tank on the way. Looks like ARMANI decides to pull back. He's not really clearing anything else up. He's still on that 3rd base, so very interesting. He's already got the infestation pit done. Here at 6.5 minutes, and eventually we will see that layer, or excuse me, the hive tech on the way. He's throwing down the Hydralisk Den, going up into hive, so we will be seeing those lurkers very, very soon. 4th base on the way. Fortunately, now we see CLEM just kind of solidifying a defensive position, as he will eventually start kind of pushing forward with the Marines. Again, just trying to clear up some of the creep. Maybe just keep an eye on what ARMANI is doing. Looks like he wants to go into the main base. There is, however, a spore crawler. 2 spore crawlers, actually, so this might not be the best situation for him. Yeah. Just going to back up. Unfortunately, with the slow zone and having boost kind of off cooldown, not going to be as good. But we'll be able to at least clear up some of the creep and kind of force ARMANI back. Another drop looking to go across the map, maybe up towards the top. We'll start focusing down onto the roaches. He does get forced to pick up and move back once again to the edge of the creep. CLEM, though. CLEM. CLEM. Going to be going up towards the top, towards that 4th base, looking to get some damage done onto this top base. Does indeed so. Roach is going up to the top to deal with that. Of course, we got another attack down at the bottom. Picks up the queen, going to clear up more creep. Eventually does get picked up and moves back. But now there's nothing here to defend except for a handful of queens. The Lynx going to come back to try to get us around, but there's not enough here. The Vipers are in place. Eventually taking out all the queens. He does actually see the Hydralisk Den, so must know that lurkers are on the way. CLEM getting more damage done. Kind of resetting that queen count. We're back down to... oh, he has no queens at all. Gets picked up, moves back around, and CLEM looking for another push. Gonna stem forward with the Marines. There are, in fact, 2 lurkers. Gonna be able to clean those up pretty well. Vipers putting on that parasitic bomb onto the medevacs, moving those out. There we go. This does give more opportunity for lurkers to come through here, but keep in mind, ARMANI does not have the gas right now to really produce a lot of these. He's kind of invested really quickly into the tech, so he doesn't have the gas, especially with on top of like the Vipers and stuff and the upgrades. Does another little push on the top, just going to get kind of cleaned up, and the Marines starting to push forward. Once again, tanks trying to get in position. Blinding Cloud's going to go down onto the tanks. The Marines pushing into the natural, though. Eventually, we'll get back on top of the Hydras, the Roaches, and the Ravagers. Blind Cloud does fade, and with the Marines coming back in full force, going to be able to clean this up. The lurkers are going to reposition, trying to get into that third base location, but this is just going to allow CLEM to get straight into the natural, start clearing this out. We'll eventually have to keep moving forward, but now can even get on top of the Overlords and supply block ARMANI. They are getting pretty low, though, so he needs to actually pick up and move out of the way. As we do see Hydralis again being remade, we see the Evo Chambers coming through, and ARMANI still getting damage done to him everywhere. The Lurker's going to get sieged up. Will force back up in that 4th base, and eventually everything gets picked up, moved around. The Vipers, though, gonna throw down the parasitic bomb. Eventually gonna clean this up in the main, or excuse me, in the 3rd base. The tanks, though, still in a decent position. Still trying to get damage done onto this 4th base, and the CLEM is everywhere. But ARMANI still holding strong. He's at 104 supply to 64. But now is supply block. The Roach is gonna get on top of the tanks. Push this back, but there's just so many Marines. The split's looking okay. Trying to focus down onto the lurkers. It's all but one and is forced back once again, but does at least get the base. And now ARMANI gonna slowly start pushing in those tanks, gets another parasitic bomb off, and will force the conclusion here of CLEM's push. Now CLEM does still have stuff at home. He's got quite a few. He's even transitioned into Ghosts at this point. He's thrown in a handful of Vikings. He's got 2 being made right now to kind of help with this. He's still got units up at the top to try to push on and put some pressure. Looks like ARMANI is actually going to try to take this bottom base, but it's not going to work out for him. And now it gets to a scary position where ARMANI is getting up into the lurker count. He's currently sitting at what, 12 lurkers? The bad thing is like the Ghosts don't have Cloak right now. And I mean, if he had Cloak, he probably could have done something, but now the Overseer is going to be on the way. That's going to make it even more tougher for the Terran. Lurkers looking to get on top of the tanks. Blinding Clouds will go down. Fortunately, the Ghost not able to get the snipes off, and will be forced back here as ARMANI starts pushing everything back. But behind this, keep in mind, CLEM has been expanding. He's been getting more and more resources. He's on +2 with +3 on the way. And ARMANI is just kind of stuck on this lurker tech. He does eventually make a few more of the Vipers to try to deal with all of this. And I mean, his Viper play has been pretty good with all of it, but oh no. Okay, just gonna come back down here. With the army, there's actually no lurkers with this. He's gonna have to move everything back down here. Instantly getting some snipes off onto the Hydras. Beautiful little engagement, but it looks like with the parasitic bomb, gonna actually force a little bit of a split coming out from CLEM. Vipers eventually will be able to push everything back, and the lurkers now still surviving. Still gonna kind of keep CLEM on a hold. Ends up getting the scan, sees where everything is at. The Marines and Marauders trying to get on top of everything will be forced back once again as more Hydras are being made. +2 for the tanks going to be coming through. And yeah, I mean, CLEM just gonna have to continue to kind of back up. Does get on top of the lurkers a little bit, but now Hydras are a big worry here for CLEM. Gonna have to come back to the main of his base. Taking more and more bases behind all this, so he is now 7 bases to a 4 base Zerg. Alrighty. CLEM looking to push in once more. Let's have more of those tanks. He's got a pretty good count of ghosts. Does have to be careful. Does get the scan off though. EMPs will eventually, or excuse me, the snipes go off onto those lurkers. There's only one lurker left. Ends up getting, oh no, he doesn't get it. It's still alive, but now the tanks are in position. Start putting on pressure. I'm slowly starting to push in. He has some small force of Marines up at the top. Looks like he's going to go down here and start trying to clear up some of the extra units. Tanks, though, getting in position. And there we go. Looks like now ARMANI just going to pull the trigger. Blinding clouds do go down. The army having to back up. And the tanks still shooting their shot. But with the help of the ghosts just getting on top of everything, there's only one left. GG's. And we see CLEM take the victory.